Coming up tonight on the news at 6.
We were really excited to see that triggering score decrease over the past couple of weeks.
Changes are coming to both state and local COVID-19 rules. We have the details. Plus, proposed new operations could extend the life of the Golden Sunlight Mine near Whitehall.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to the News at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, our top story tonight at 6, while Governor Greg Gianforte said he plans to let Montana's COVID-19 mask mandate expire tomorrow, local mandates like the one in Lewis and Clark County will stay in effect. But new changes to COVID-19 restrictions are happening in Montana and Lewis and Clark County. MTN's John Riley has the details.
Although the mask mandate will remain in effect in Lewis and Clark County, public health is lessening some restrictions after the county saw improvement in hospital capacity and business compliance with COVID restrictions.
We were really excited to see that triggering score decrease over the past couple of weeks, which has allowed some of those restrictions to be lifted. And that was the way the emergency rules were designed.
Beginning Friday, bars, restaurants, distilleries, casinos, and gyms will be able to operate at 75% capacity. The threshold of events that do not need approval from public health has been increased from a maximum of 25 people to a maximum of 50 people. Events over 250 individuals are still prohibited unless they're associated with a school. Neiman says it's great news that they're seeing improvement in the county, but urges people to remain vigilant to avoid another spike that could tighten restrictions.
Things are looking much better, and it feels great as far as the workload is concerned. Our contact tracers are able to keep up with the work associated with case investigation and contact tracing because of our lower case count. But it wouldn't take much at all to send us in the wrong direction.
Neiman says all of their decisions during the pandemic have been data-driven. The CDC once again this week came out in strong support of mask mandates, saying they're effective tools in reducing the spread of the disease and number of hospitalizations. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Well, now taking a look at the COVID-19 situation here in Montana, active cases continue to fall and have stayed below 3,000 for the second consecutive day. Just over 300 additional COVID-19 cases were reported today in Montana. 111 people are currently hospitalized with the virus in the state. 2 additional deaths have been reported today, one in Lake County and one in Gallatin County. And that brings the statewide death total to 1,338. MTN uses a combination of state and local data to report COVID-19 cases and deaths here in Montana. Well, Butte's annual St. Patrick's Day Parade will not get the green light this year due to COVID-19. Matt Boyle with the Butte America Foundation said the Butte Health Department rejected the organization's plan to host the parade on March 17th. Now, organizers plan to host a virtual parade, broadcasting it online and on television to encourage people to watch from home. But health officials worried the parade would still draw crowds to the parade route in Uptown. All right, now it's time for First Weather. And Curtis, it is good to have you back just in time to tell us what is going on with this frigid weather.
Yeah, another person delivering more in the way of cold weather here. Good evening, everybody. Still looking at a wind chill warning for the northern half, or more than the northern half of the state, for wind chill values down to 60 below. Wind chill advisory for southern Montana, wind chill values down to 40 below. Note that winter weather advisory, lower left-hand side of your screen. Winter weather advisory outside of Montana. Doesn't look like we'll get much snow here, but look at these incredible wind chills right now. 50 below in Great Falls, 50 below in Lewistown, 42 below in Cup Bank. And how about this? Earlier this morning near West Glacier, a reading of 70 below. We did this 2 years ago up in northeast Montana. Poplar had a wind chill value of 70 below zero. That is incredible. Right now we're in the core of the cold. We get snow close to more snow, and we'll talk about Monday moderation coming up.
All right, thanks for that, Curtis. Well, new tonight at 6, Helena School District trustees have picked the top 2 candidates to become the district's next superintendent. The school board held online interviews with 5 semifinalists yesterday and today. After the interviews, they selected 2 finalists. Kevin Atten, the superintendent of the Bayfield School District in Colorado, and Rex Welts, the current principal of Rossiter Elementary and former superintendent of the Polson School District. The finalists will meet with district staff and students next Thursday and participate in an online community event that night. Then they have their final interviews with the board on Friday morning. Current Superintendent Tyler Ream is stepping down in June after 3 years on the job. Governor Gianforte is proposing a series of bills to cut taxes and otherwise overhaul Montana's tax system. The centerpieces of his plan, focusing on the state income tax, had their first hearings today before a legislative committee. MTN's Mike Dennison tells us what the proposals will do and what the supporters and opponents had to say at the hearings.
The 3 income tax bills before the Senate Taxation Committee all have one goal in common, as told by Gianforte's budget director, Kurt Alme.
Governor Gianforte is sending a message to entrepreneurs and business leaders in Montana and across the country. We want you and your good-paying jobs.
The first bill would cut Montana's top personal income tax rate from 6.9% to 6.75%. Another would set up a special reserve fund to finance incremental reduction of that top rate, eventually down to 5%. And finally, a third bill says if a new company sets up shop in Montana and creates good jobs here over 5 years, any profits from sale of the company's stock by employees would be entirely exempt from income taxes. Here's the sponsor of that last bill.
Not only are we going to attract new talent, but I think we're going to attract a lot of our talent that's left this state and wants to come back.
Opponents of the bills, however, said they all have a fundamental flaw. Numerous studies have shown that cutting income taxes for the wealthy to encourage job development has never really worked.
These economists from one of the most prestigious economic schools in the world looked back over a span of 50 years of tax cuts for the rich to see if the, quote, common sense idea of tax cuts for the rich turbocharged the economy. All they found was that the rich get richer and the broader economy not improved.
They also said the bills will chop revenue from the state budget with no regard for whether the state may need that revenue to pay for vital services like education, infrastructure, or services for the vulnerable. Senator Greg Hertz of Polson, the sponsor of the first 2 bills, said he believes otherwise.
But what's the best thing we can do for those individuals in need? Provide them a better opportunity and a better paying job. And that's the basics behind this bill and other bills, what we're trying to do.
Hertz also plans to bring a bill to simplify state income taxes by getting rid of some tax credits. And on Friday, he'll present a bill that actually raises taxes on multi-state corporations to help pay for some of the cuts in other bills. With Republicans firmly in control of the legislature, it's a pretty good bet that Governor Gianforte's tax cut plans will be sailing through. The real question may be, what happens to other tax cuts being advanced by Republican lawmakers, of which there are many? In Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
All of these bills are still in committee awaiting their initial votes. And the public will soon get a chance to give feedback on environmental concerns about future plans for the Golden Sunlight Mine near Whitehall. The Department of Environmental Quality has a public meeting scheduled for March 4th about plans to amend the mine's operating permit, which will involve excavating and reprocessing tailings to extract gold and sulfide concentrate. Now, this will extend activity at the mine up to 12 years. The gold mine stopped open pit mining in 2019. Anyone who wants to comment can register for the remote March 4th meeting on the DEQ website. And still ahead on the news at 6, how a newly opened recovery home in Helena is helping and honoring community veterans.
You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. A new all-male recovery home has opened in Helena. The pandemic has increased demand for this kind of housing. MTN's Alexia Guayo reports.
So this sign is to honor John Scott Hannon.
John Scott Hannon served in the Navy for 23 years before retiring as a highly decorated Navy SEAL to his family and home in Helena. His service to our country is forever honored in our community and newly in this home that formerly housed 12 veterans at a time in transitional recovery living. One addiction counselor candidate says the facility will make vets tackling tough issues feel comfortable.
I am a disabled veteran. Unfortunately, my addiction issues sent me to prison, and when I got out, I was completely homeless. When I heard about this house, I was really excited because it's a venue for veterans to get some help that they need without the stigma.
This 12-bed facility was recently purchased by Instar Community Services. It still serves to help our veterans while also helping other men in need of recovery.
It feels great to be able to provide a much needed resource in this community. We have a huge gap in aftercare in the state of Montana, I feel.
Instar Community Services states that out of millions of folks out of correctional facilities in the country with health issues, only 11% receive aftercare, and that is still not all.
Because of COVID, we have seen an increase for people's mental health needs and an increase in addiction. So what better time to be able to provide this facility for people.
Although the facility recently opened, 2 men have moved in and Instar already received 5 more applications. In Helena, I'm Lexi Aguayo, MTN News.
Instar Community Services are scheduled to host an open house at the facility on February 25th. All right, and now to tell us more about that freezing cold weather, here is Curtis Grevenitz.
Yeah, the core of the cold, southern Canada, including over Montana. But watch how we go through the next few days, and that area of cold air slowly moves off towards the east. And as we get into Monday, President's Day, a little warmer air will be on the way. More on the forecast coming up next.
With Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good Thursday evening to you all. I want to start out with Monarch here. Why? Well, looks pretty. Doesn't really feel pretty. It's 30 below right now in Monarch. That's the second coldest number I could find. Great Falls, 27 degrees below zero. Look at that wind chill of 50 below here. Absolutely incredible cold, dangerous cold as well. Helena, a little better, but you know, it still is very cold. We're at 10 below with a wind chill of 27 degrees below zero. Current readings, it's 28 below in Lewistown right now, 23 below in Cut Bank, 18 below in Havre. The coldest number I could find, just southwest of Lewistown, a little town of Moore, 31 degrees below zero. That's without the wind. Now you factor in the wind, and we're looking at dangerous cold values here through tonight, through tomorrow. This is by about this time tomorrow afternoon and evening, 20 to 30 degrees below zero. Saturday, still 20 to 30, 40 degrees below zero with the wind. Sunday and Monday, this is when we start to modify the numbers here just a little bit. So we've got a few more days of just really dangerous cold that will stick around. On the radar right now, not much in Montana, but over the last few days on the radar it hasn't been showing much because the snow just falls so lightly out there. We likely will have more light snow in the southwestern part of the state, but boy, it's some snow. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, down into Wyoming. And how about that ice storm down into Texas? Of course, just a devastating pileup just west of Fort Worth, Texas. 5 people killed in a pileup with over 100 cars because of freezing rain. So the Arctic air is spilling really far south here. It's not just Montana that is having it really, really tough. Excuse me. Here's what will happen through tonight. Clouds in the southwestern part of the state, some snow around Butte and Dillon and Bozeman down through Livingston. Now, heading into tomorrow morning, we likely will have some snow moving up to about the Helena area here, especially west and south of town. Just a little light snow through the morning hours. Most of that should be gone by the afternoon. Snow staying down to the south. Now, Friday night, skies mainly clear. This is when we could have another night with temperatures 20, 30, even 40 below. Clear skies allow those temperatures to cool more readily. And then heading into Saturday afternoon, maybe a few clouds and a few flurries again close to Helena and Bozeman and Butte. But for the most part, the heavy snow that we've seen, or at least significant accumulation, is over with here. Through tomorrow again, maybe a coating up to about an inch around Helena, a better chance for more appreciable accumulation around Butte and Bozeman. Here's the forecast for tonight. Dangerously cold temperatures here. Some places are already at 30 below. Look at Big Sandy and Loma, 34 degrees below zero. Maybe not as cold northeast Montana, but our wind chills 50 to 60 below zero here. Lewistown, we could maybe go down to about 35 below tonight. And with the cloud cover, that'll keep the temperatures up just a bit around Helena. maybe closer to 20 below as opposed to 30 or 35 below if we had clear skies. That may happen tomorrow night. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Another very cold day, single digits to double digits below zero. A little light snow in the southwestern part of the state. Heading into Saturday, again, a little light snow, maybe as far north and east as Helena, talking a few flurries and continued cold. Most of the state east of the divide still below zero. Now heading into Sunday, doesn't this warm up your heart just a little bit? 0 in Havre, 0 in Great Falls, 5 in Lewistown, 3 in Helena. So the temperatures start coming up just a bit here on Sunday. And then heading into Monday, President's Day, a day where a lot of people can take the day off and maybe avoid being out so much in the cold. But the temperatures begin to modify. Look at the teens and the 20s. Likely we have a little light snow coming through here on President's Day as well. So here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. Likely that we have a little light snow tomorrow morning, maybe a ½ inch to an inch of accumulation tomorrow night, 20 below, Saturday night, 20 below. We start to modify some next week, getting close to freezing by Wednesday and Thursday. And for Great Falls, just incredibly cold out there tonight. Lows maybe down around 35 below. The wind chill is currently, again, 50 below zero right now in Great Falls. A couple of really cold days here. We get up to 0 here on Sunday, 20 on Monday, and how about that, above freezing, 36 next Thursday.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Coming up, we catch up with one of the Bruins girls basketball standouts. Still ahead.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Thanks for spending some time with us this evening. The Helena Capital girls basketball team has a presence in the paint thanks to the Barsh twins. But beyond the arc, there is another Bruin who shines brightest. MTN's Sam Hoyle has the story.
The Helena Capital girls basketball team is off to a solid start this season with only one loss to their credit. The main part of their success has been their scorers, one of which being Mara McGinley, or as her teammates like to call her.
We like to call her the silent killer. She just comes out and she doesn't have that much emotion, but you know she's ready to go, you know she's ready to play, and we can always count on her.
For McGinley, whether it's a good game or a bad one, it's a straight face across the board because for her, the power aspect of the game is not giving in to emotions and giving the opposing team something to feed off of.
I'm just not a huge hip hurrah person, and I don't like the other team, to see how I'm feeling, to use that against me. So I try to have a poker face at all times.
McGinley is so good at keeping an even keel on the court, sometimes it's even difficult for her teammates to read her.
It's a little hard to read sometimes, but I know she's never down on herself or anything. She's always there for us.
But her game is so much more important to the Bruins than that, says her head coach, Katie Garson-Forba. McGinley's ability to drop bombs from beyond the arc is a problem for opposing defenses as well.
Oh, I think it's huge. It's made teams have to guard us in man a lot this year, which is proving to be problematic at times for teams. So when teams have zoned us, she shot the ball really well, and she helps us just be able to get inside-out looks because they have to really defend her there.
And even though that even keel on the court doesn't let anyone else know it, the silent killer is on for blood.
And I'm very focused, and I don't worry about other things going on. I'm just there to win pretty much.
Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
All right, and we'll wrap things up here on the News at 6 when we come back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Here's a very relatable story for you. The pandemic has turned politics upside down, quite literally in this case. Congressman Tom Emmer joined a House Financial Services Committee hearing on Wednesday via video, but the Minnesota Republican had, let's say, some technical difficulties. When he began speaking about today's economy during the pandemic, he appeared inverted on the screen. Chairwoman Maxine Waters quickly interrupts Mr. Emmer to ask if he is okay, and it turns out he wasn't sure how to get rid of the video filter that turned him upside down. One of his colleagues had a creative and probably not so helpful solution. He said he could maybe stand on his head. Well, luckily, Emmer was able to figure it out and continued the hearing right side up. Is this a metaphor? Very relatable. I feel like that's happening all the time now. And that does it for the News at 6. We'll be back here tonight at 10 with your latest local headlines and another look at the weather. We'll see you then.